Good morning class. So welcome to your daily current affairs on paper Hindu. So let's see today's articles. So yesterday also we were discussing that we will be having a high level summit, which is the defense summit between our country and China. So ahead of SCO summit, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is going to be hosted in India. So India is going to host SCO. Before this we are going to discuss, so we have discussed with Chinese counterpart. So our defense ministry Rajnath Singh with his counterpart, they have discussed in depth about how to resolve the border issues in LAC region. So we will see this article, important for your internal security, border issues, so international relations as well in the neighborhood. Okay. So ties depend on peace on border, Rajnath to China. So whatever the further ties that we are going to have, that may be a bilateral relationship, can be trade, can be anything. So it will be completely dependent on how our border issues will be resolved. So in that way our defense ministry has mentioned, so violation of existing agreements has eroded the entire base of bilateral relations, says defense minister during China's first high level military visit since the Ladakh standoff began in 2020. So since the Ladakh issue started picking up again in 2020, since then till now this is the first high level of military meeting happening between both the countries. So in that way the violation of existing agreements have eroded the entire base of bilateral relationship, says defense ministry. That means whatever the bilateral relationship that we have, you should not be going against it. If you are deviating, then again the defense relationship or the whatever the foreign policy that we have, it cannot be concluded at any cost. So that is what Rajnath Singh has mentioned to China. So it is a high time that we need to work upon our foreign policies and resolve our border issues as soon as possible. So this is the first high level military visit from China since the start of 2020 April at Ladakh. Yes. So further updates is that the two ministers had frank discussions about what are the developments in the border areas as well as bilateral relationships. So of course China have a positive trade balance with India, that means we are at the negative end, and the trade deficit between India and China's trade would be more than 100 billion. It is more than 100 billion. It has surpassed the upper cutoff of $100 billion as of past months. So as of now you need to understand that India is in the negative trade balance with respect to China in trade relationship. At the same time, whatever the bilateral relationship or the border issues have been discussed so far in this military meeting. Okay, fine. So why Chinese military minister has come into India, or defense minister have come into India? Because of SCO summit that is going to happen this Friday. Defense ministers meeting which is being scheduled as of for SCO in this Friday. That means today they are going to have this SCO summit on defense minister summit for SCO. So regarding that, Chinese ministers have come. In that regard, we have already discussed yesterday about defense issues, and now today they will be further discussing on what are the other possibilities of solving or resolving the issues, border issues. Fine. Next. Local news. So important for your science and technology. Japanese team reviews a lunar polar exploration mission with ISRO. So we are working, even we have our own lunar missions, that means space expedition to moon. So currently we are working with Japan, and the mission is called UPSC mission for moon expedition, and we are also planning Chandrayaan 3 to be taking off by this year only. So in that regard, so Japan and India are working. So in India, in the sense ISRO. So even as the Indian Space Research Organization is gearing up for the launch of Chandrayaan 3 this year, work on another moon mission involving India and Japan, which is lunar polar exploration. So along with our Chandrayaan 3, we are also planning with other moon mission with Japan, naming UPSC, which is lunar polar mission, and has been gathering steam in last few days. So Indo-Japanese UPSC mission is envisaged to explore the permanent shadowed regions on the dark side of the moon. So moon is synchronous, that means its revolution is equal to its rotation, that means only one phase of the moon will be visible to all over the world in India. So in that regard, now what's happening is that this LUPEX mission is targeting the other shadowed part which the world haven't witnessed so far. So the shadowed region of moon will be expedited, will be explored by India and Japan through their LUPEX mission. So a team from Japan Aerospace Exploration, so similar to ISRO here, Indian Space Research Organization, we have JAXA there, which is Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency is in India and meeting with ISRO scientists involved in LUPEX mission. So they are going to work, they are already working together for this LUPEX mission. Fine. So the objective and what is again required. The main objective of the mission to confirm presence of water in the polar regions of the moon. So we have doubt that there might be presence of water in moon. To confirm that these expeditions are happening. So the mission is expected to be launched in the next couple of years. That means within the next 2 years we can expect the launch of this mission, and this year our mission which is scheduled to moon is Chandrayaan-3. So the launch vehicle for this mission will be Japanese rocket and the lander system will be developed by ISRO. So the launch system will be by Japanese, whereas the lander will be developed by ISRO, while the rover by JAXA and its landing point will be south pole of the moon, the other side. Okay, fine. So that is about this article. Next. India sends third ship INS Turkish to Port Sudan for evacuating citizens. So earlier so this operation is called Operation Kaveri. We know that in Sudan there is war situations where the military is fighting with the existing government. So there is some kind of issues happening, war issues in Sudan. So in Sudan almost like many of the people, immigrants are from India too. So currently we are trying to evacuate Indians from Sudan to back to India. So we are trying to rescue them. In that mission earlier, so the total operation is called Operation Kaveri, and we have already sent INS Sumedha, and Sumedha also brought first set of people back to India, and with that we have again yesterday included INS TEG, and now they have also sent the third one. It is going to be, they sent this particular third ship which is INS Turkish, right. So the Foreign Secretary says evacuation efforts face challenges such as lack of diesel and buses, calls situation in Sudan highly volatile and unpredictable. He expressed gratitude to Saudi Arabia for cooperation in Operation Kaveri. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to evacuate our citizens from Sudan, in which we have got help from Saudi Arabia. So we have thanked them to make this process easy. So to make this process easy. Fine. And the other thing was, there are certain other countries like Sri Lanka who have asked India for help. So our priority would be our country. At the same time we will be evacuating them eventually. So first our country, then the other people will also be eventually evacuated as long as the country assumes that it is fine. So yes, INS Turkish, an Indian naval ship, reached Port Sudan on Thursday. So it has reached Port Sudan to evacuate stranded Indians, announcing the progress of the Operation Kaveri to bring back Indians from the war-torn Sudan to Indian land. So that is what the Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Kwatra said India would do all that is required to be done to make its citizens back to the country. So no need to panic, they will be back soon. So that is about entirely this article, rest of again not required. The issue started in Khartoum, that you need to know, Khartoum city in Sudan. Next. So almost thousands of people were already moved from that particular war-prone zone to some other area, and later on the thing which is pending is they should be reaching Indian land, that's all. Next. Soon Indian Army to raise cyber operations and support wings. So Indian Army is coming into this field of cyber security provision. So what they are trying to do, they are going to perform the cyber operations and support wings. So what is this article? We will see. Several major decisions were taken at the Army Commanders Conference that was held in the last week, which is Army Commanders Conference ACC, has decided to operationalize the command cyber operations and support wings in the immense future with current on net-centric operations convert the 5-year entry scheme for entry of officers to 4 years from January. So what they are trying to do, they are going to separate, they are going to operate this cyber security operations from army only. So for that they have given certain training period to 5-year technical entry scheme for entry of officers to 4 years. So earlier it used to be 5 years entry training, and that have been reduced to 4 years. The train motivated soldiers for Paralympic events doubled the sustenance allowance and specially abled children, allowance to specially abled children of personnel killed in the line of duty through army general incident. So what they are trying to do with these operations, they are going to give them economical sustenance. So financial benefits will be there, no, if they are operating, or they are trying to do all these favors. So they will be giving economical benefits through which it can support Paralympic events. Soldiers are motivated to go into Paralympic events, and also to double the sustenance allowance for special children, that's all, special abled children. So the expansion of cyber warfare capabilities by our adversaries has made cyber domain more competitive and contested than before. Hence, to safeguard the networks and increase the preparedness levels in the domain, courseworks are being raised. So what is this courseworks? We have seen here. See, to the command cyber operations and support wings. So the command cyber operations and support wings will be like hubs where they will be communicating regarding cyber security. So those operations will be there, and in case if there is any kind of cyber warfare, India needs to equip itself before. So for such cases they are trying to instill this cyber hubs, that's all. So the wings, the training wings have been again allocated in different areas. So let's go through that. So under this, 1-year military training is imparted at Officers Training Academy and in Gaya, following 3 years of BTech degree at the cadet training wings. So the training and degrees will also be given in this cyber operations only. So what is this? Followed by 1 year at the 3 engineering colleges. So you can opt for any 3 engineering colleges by the cadets who have been chosen for these military operations. So College of Military Engineering in Pune, Military College of Telecommunication Engineering in Maho, and Military College of Mechanical and Electronics Engineering in Secunderabad. So all these 3 will be offering courses for development of cyber security operations, right? Next. So 4 years overall, 1 year training in the training academy and 3 years in BTech, that you need to understand. Fine. Next. Ready to play facilitator to push government to ease concerns of same-sex partners. So what is it trying to do? So earlier yesterday we have seen one article where Solicitor General has told that there is clear difference, and definitely the legalizing matter of, or legalizing same-sex marriage is completely under the ambience of legislature. So and it is in the concurrent list, definitely it is under the union government as well as the state government consent to discuss and debate, and then if there is any chances to legalize. That is what Solicitor General has mentioned. In return, as a return response, the Supreme Court has mentioned that yes, of course, we know what is our limitations, and conscious of our limitations as a court, says Chief Justice Chandrachud, the SC says it can facilitate solutions for the day-to-day human concerns of cohabiting partners without touching upon the issue of legal recognition of same-sex marriage. Of course, we know where are our limitations as a judiciary. So definitely we will not intrude into your legislature. However, if in a day-to-day issues, if the same-sex partners are facing any kind of issue, we will try to facilitate them. So that is what Supreme Court has mentioned, and Solicitor General has clearly mentioned that this concept of legalizing should not be dealt by judiciary, and it is our responsibility in the parliament, right? Next. Pro-op Khalistani extremism review panel urges UK government. So there was a review panel instilled to check upon what were the issues happened, how this issue has been triggered. The Khalistani movement has triggered in UK, where in Indian High Commission present in UK, the flag of Indian flag was put down by these Khalistani movements. So this has triggered India's foreign policies. The UK's and India's foreign policy was hugely affected because of this particular movement, where India has questioned UK, stating that so it is your responsibility to protect Indian diplomats who are in UK. So in High Commission too, it is your responsibility to ensure that there is peace and security. This kind of issue should not be encouraged. In such case, UK has made a particular panel, review panel, and the panel has mentioned that, of course, so the pro-Khalistani extremism review panel urges, so whoever is triggering this Khalistani movements, get hold of them. This kind of issue should not be repeated. What the report has been mentioned is that the report says that the UK government needs to clearly define and investigate extremist activity within the Sikh community and develop more nuanced and comprehensive understanding of subversive and sectarian activity. So what it has mentioned, UK should be very clear about what are the activities that are actually acceptable and which are not acceptable. So it has to clearly probe whatever has happened on this Khalistani movement. Fine. It urges the government to not inadvertently legitimize this Sikh extremism via government or parliamentary engagement. It advocates improving faith literacy, especially in interfaith issues across the government and parliament. So what clearly that particular report has mentioned, so it has told that this is a government failure. So you need to work upon this and you need to focus on not to trigger any kind of Sikh extremism in UK. Fine. So yes. So this is just the update of what has happened. That again, you can just go through this article, rest all not required. Fine. Das urges lenders to continually assess risk and bolster capital buffers. So I'll give you a gist. So Shaktikant Das, so RBI governor, what he has mentioned is make sure whatever the lenders or your putting up your money into any kind of investments, make sure that you are understanding the existing financial situations, right? So globally the market is very slow, global recession situations are witnessed. In such cases, you need to make sure that your investment should not go in vain. That is what Shaktikant Das has mentioned, especially in capital buffers. Make sure that your investment is calculated, is with calculated risks. So the RBI chief cites the financial instability in some of the advanced economies and stress need to boost liquidity buffers beyond regulatory minimum. The central bank governor says lenders can thereby ensure continued organization resilience and sustained growth. So make sure that you are aware of what is the global scenarios. So flagging the recent financial instability in some advanced economies, the governor, RBI Governor Shaktikant Das has urged the bank boards to continually assess the financial risk and build enough capital buffers to remain resilient and sustainable. So what we are trying to do, we are going to invest into capital buffers, so capital investments. So make sure that you are entering, or to avoid your financial risk, build enough capital buffers and avoid investing into foreign institutions. So the recent events in the banking landscape of the US and Europe suggested that the risk of an individual bank could crop up the segments of its balance sheet which might have been considered relatively safer. So what they have mentioned, clearly crop up your investments. So don't keep your investments into any other foreign banks. So let it be in your investment through capital buffers. That is what Shaktikant Das have mentioned. There is global issues, global financial instability that we are witnessing right now. Fine. So coming to Indian scenario, this is important again. So Shaktikant Das have mentioned about Indian scenario that when it compares the same thing with India, the NPAs have been reduced. So your non-performing assets have been reduced, which showcases the stability in India's economy. So the bank's asset quality have improved. So he said, and the gross NPA ratio for scheduled commercial banks was 4.41%, which is below 5% at the end of December. By December 2022, down from 5.8% in 2022 of March. So within the 6 months span, the overall NPA has fallen towards below 4.4%, which is very good for our Indian economy's stability. So 7.3% was there in 2021, that is due to again COVID scenario. Fine. So most of the people didn't have money, so to pay back their loans, that is why the NPAs have been spiked up in March 2021 during COVID time, and later on 2022 of March it has been reduced to 5.8. So yeah, 5.8, and later on it has been furthermore decreased in December 2022 to 4.48%, ensures India's stability in economy. So you can trust Indian banks more than foreign entities. Last article. So threat of rising sea levels. So World Meteorological Organization, WMO, has given a recent report. So environment part important. Basically what they have given is that the sea levels have been raised, is being raised consistently. It is being increasing unprecedentedly, because of which now the weather conditions and the climatic conditions are turning out unpredictable. So because of this increase in water level, tsunamis or other kind of disasters, floods may increase more. At the same time, glaciers melt will be more, then drought conditions would prevail. That is what WMO has mentioned. So going into the gist, so I have already given you the gist, so let us see. WMO has found a new report that the world's sea level is rising at an unprecedented rate. So without even, like, it's more than the one which we have expected, portending potentially disastrous consequences for weather, agriculture and extant groundwater crisis and social disparities. The sea level has been rising in 3 decades for which the satellite altimeter data is available. So from 3 decades, if you can see, it has been increasing continuously. So but while the rate of sea level rise was 2.27 mm per year in 1993 to 2002, it has turned to 4.62% from 2013 to 2022. See, almost doubled. It's more than double actually. More than double is the level of increase of sea level rise within the span of 3 decades. Next, since the lives of coastal communities include their economic activities is tied intricately with the coastal ecosystem, the changes in the coastal ecosystem as a result of GSML rise will, that means which is your mean sea level, global mean sea level, will rise further, endanger the socio-economic stability of these communities. So another thing is economical burden. Once this sea level rise, mean sea level rise is increasing, obviously the first affected people will be the coastal areas people, and especially people who are relying for their economic activities on coastal ecosystem. So those people will be adversely affected. That is what WMO has given. So another thing is that, another speculation is that the sea levels might hit 2 meters, the rise of sea level would be hitting 2 meters high by 2100. So that is what they have estimated. So rest all is the same. Yes, so rest all is the same thing that they have mentioned. So that is the overview which we have seen. Just go through this. So they have mentioned. So the release have clearly mentioned. So it points out the following factors for GSML. So as I told you, what is GSML? It is a mean sea level. See, the global mean sea level, which is G level, that has been rising. And currently, what are the causes that accelerated sea level that you need to know? First, ocean warming. Next, ice loss from glaciers and ice sheets, and changes in land water storage. So because of these 3 issues, it is majorly triggering the increase of sea level aggregately. Next, according to the report, in 2005-2009, the loss of glaciers and ice sheets contributed 36% of GSML. So overall, in the 100% rise of GSML, 36% is through the contribution of melting of glaciers and ice sheets. Our ocean warming, the phenomenon of raising the mean ocean temperatures, contributed to 55%. If the ocean is warmed, obviously triggering of tsunamis will increase, because it will give the required level of temperature for causing these tsunamis. So that is why the increase in tsunamis can be observed with the increase of ocean temperature, contributing to 55%, and change in the land water contributed to less than 10%. So maximum is increase in water of like warming up of oceans, and the second one majorly triggering is GSML rise, and the last one is your land water storage issues. Next, so what problems will it cause? Acute shortage of land. Already population is inflating. In that cases, if water level is completely in the rise, then where will people stay? So land, deficiency will be, or land acute shortage of land will be seen. Next, second, weather formations such as cyclones, tsunamis, cyclones are known to be typically originating in open seas. As GSMR continues to rise along with the rise in ocean temperatures, the chance of cyclones will also be increasing. That is why earlier also in Arabian Sea, when compared to Bay of Bengal, it used to have less number of cyclones if you consider the Indian climate as a whole. But in the recent decades, like in the past decade itself, we can see the hiking up of occurrences of cyclones in Arabian Sea because of warming up of ocean water. A similar way, right now because of this rise in ocean temperatures, it might trigger huge cyclones, as it will be giving you positive conditions for occurrence of cyclones and leading to large economic liabilities for tropical countries such as India, South Africa, which have high population densities. Because we are populous countries, land is being submerged by water, obviously land is being compromised, so which increases acute shortage of land for people who are living in these countries. So India is also going to be worstly impacted. So that is about WMO report. So just go through these articles. We have already posted this in the Telegram channel. So Telegram channel is Shivanath Mavilla UPSC. So you can just go through that. Yes, that's it for today. We'll meet in the next session tomorrow. Thank you for the session. Good day.